But first, we're kicking off with a deeply controversial statement by Islamic cleric Sheikh Yahya Jingir, who had social media on fire on Sunday. There's a clip of him boldly declaring to a packed crowd that Muslims should continue supporting the Muslim ticket because, according to him, it's proof that they're numerically superior to Christians. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
So da ka kuke ganin gwani na Ahmad Bola Tinubu wanda ya daga tutar siyasar su ya mata kirari da Muslim nace ina daya daga cikin masu daga tutar musulunci in kira jama'a ku taho mu yi Muslim na sani cewa kafirai na jin safin wannan kalma mu nuna wa duniya ƙarya kafirai suke da suka ce sun fi mu yawa a Najeriya ƙarya suke yi ba don Allah ya taimake mu nace Muslim ba mai ragon jini sai ya ce sun fi mu yawa da aka buga Allah ya taimake mu muka kwantara su da ƙasa su zo na biyu ma ba su zo ba ko sun zo sai na uku bayan murɗiyar su duka da haka ƙuri'a ta musulunci ce jama'ar musulmi ta kufa to kar wani ya ruɗe ku.
Now, Nigerians have been reacting in droves to that 1 minute plus clip ever since it first appeared on Sunday for a number of reasons. One, because of the sheer brazenness of it all. These comments were not made during a private gathering amongst a small group of people. No, these were comments made, as we saw, in front of a sizable crowd. This was a public declaration that electoral politics should be framed around whichever religion has the larger head count. Two, these comments were made in the presence of at least two sitting APC governors, including Abba Yusuf of Kano State and Umar Namadi of Jigawa State, both of whom, as of this morning, have not issued any statement in response. And three, because as we talk about here on an almost daily basis, Nigeria is fully already a country dealing with religious tensions. And this kind of language from a high-profile Islamic cleric only adds flames to the fire. I'll take some reactions from X, but first I have to say good morning and, happy Monday, I guess. We're back. The weekend went by so quickly. To my panel, Dr. Abati, Ayo, and Rufai. Good morning to all of you. I mean, this is such a big story that so many people were talking about online, and I'll just quickly take some reactions before coming to you, Rufai. Onyani on X said, "This is the kind of mentality that keeps Nigeria divided and underdeveloped. So, the objective of a Muslim ticket is to maintain religious dominance. Is that what leadership has been reduced to, counting who dominates instead of what government is delivering to the people? Has the Muslim ticket stopped insecurity? If it hasn't stopped insecurity nationwide, has it stopped insecurity in predominantly Muslim zones? Has it given Nigerians 24/7 electricity? Has it created enough jobs? Has it eliminated poverty? Has it transformed healthcare, education? Has it made Nigerians safer? If the answer to these questions is no, then what exactly are you celebrating? Religious dominance or good governance? Competence should dominate. Accountability should dominate. Development should dominate, not religion." Rufai, I put this to you.
Yes, thank you for putting it to me. But religion dominates. That's the way these reckless politicians have perpetrated the destruction they do in our country. But you see, let me tell you where religion doesn't dominate: when they are stealing our national money. All of this, the reason why they want to come to power is to steal national funds, mostly. Because when you look at it, before they come to power and after they come to power, they become a lot richer. We know a lot of people that over 20 years ago, they had nothing to their name. Today, they are multi-billionaires. And you ask them, how did they make the money? They'll say, shut up your mouth. We know a lot of people that they were nothing before they came into politics, but today they show wealth everywhere. Which resource is it? They say, shut up your mouth. If you didn't catch me, steal state resource. Because you have a better way of funneling, it does not mean that people do not know that you steal it. Because you have a judicial system that can't hold you accountable does not mean people do not know that you steal it. So when they are bereft of ideas, what they do is they look for pressure points like religion. Let me now tell you the counter narrative they are trying to push to support this. You remember the Yes Daddy video by Peter Obi, or the audio recording that they said was a purport telephone conversation? Some people are pushing that narrative and say, yes, so yes, Daddy should be. Peter Obi too said, yes, Daddy is a religious war and everything. Which I don't believe anything should be a religious war. But the question we should ask them this morning is, and I quote, please, will everybody sitting down there in that gathering that sees nothing wrong with a Muslim ticket as a political strategy, please, will they accept a Christian ticket? That's just where the hypocrisy lies. We sounded off about this, they say my mouth is smelly. I don't have any problems. Muslim ticket, go ahead. But please, as long as, if we can say there's nothing wrong with a Christian ticket, all right? And when people feel disgruntled and they say things, you don't shut them down based on their religion. That's just the argument I want to put forward to them. You and I know that they will never accept it. If they did easily accept it, we will not have all the religious challenges we're having today. But you see, the grand scheme is we must be able to live where religion does not play a role in our politics, because both Christians, both Muslims are getting killed. It doesn't also stop the fact that there's Christian genocide. Right. In some particular parts of the country. But this asinine politics that we play, this destructive politics that we play, I'm sure we're beginning to see the results. And it is during election period that you see all of this. But you see, I pity whoever said this on the Cleric, because see, no matter how much you say this to gain political advantage because governors are there, you will never be as rich. You will never have the level of access to state resources these people have. So in the end, the greatest pawn that they are using are the religious leaders to incite this, and the people. In the end, it is the people that are the biggest losers. You will always be a victim of insecurity. You will always be a victim of poor economy. You will always be a victim of inflation. But them, they can still state resource even more and hedge against inflation. So they will use you and you will dump you, and the poverty cycle continues for people at the lower level while them at the higher level enjoy. When they are both stealing state resources, they don't care if you are Muslim or Christian. All they care about is the choicest place they can hide the loot, the state loot. Right. That's all they care about. It's not about religion. Thank you. May God allow the lower people learn.
Okay, I think they all want to speak.
Before Dr. Bati said, I think what this Islamic cleric said, the statement he made, should be regarded as hate speech. I say this because the thrust of what he was saying was to pit a particular religion against another for political gain. And let's call what it is what it is. What he made, the statements he made, they're not factually correct. However, they would make sense to an audience that is not educated, or a gullible audience, to put it better. And I think it's quite sad to see that the governors who were present didn't immediately speak against that. You should never sacrifice the peace and security of the people in Nigeria on the altar of personal politics. And this is what this man's statement, this cleric's statement, potentially had the cause to do. And if it was either ways, I would say the same thing. I also believe that because he was speaking to the president's reason for choosing, which we know that's not the reason why, for choosing a Muslim ticket, in his stance was saying almost a supremacy of one religion over the other, and numbers are more over the other, and even using a derogatory term to describe the other, and that's why he said it was hate speech. And we cannot run a society, especially as polarized as Nigeria, without a zero tolerance to rhetoric like this, whether for political gain or not. This is the time where we ought to be building, where we should be speaking about unity, where we should be speaking about there's unity in diversity. We've talked about how divided we are as a nation and how the division is going deeper. And so we should not, no politician, no credible leader should sit in a conversation where topics like this, we're praising the Kaduna State governor for trying to build the bridges between the north and the south, Christians and Muslims. We are praising efforts by these leaders, and then we have people who come up to speak like this. From Abago the other day, despite the criticisms that his statement statement had talked about that as well. And that's
Yes.
why this morning, I believe that not just the governors, but the president himself, who was mentioned as part of his reason, we are going to support him for this. And if you see the what he was saying, or the other person came third, almost putting aside, and it's dangerous to make the political contest a Muslim versus Christian contest.
Absolutely.
It has to be a contest of ideas. It has to be a contest of who is the best fit as a leader for Nigerians. Let us not allow leaders or even the people be used as a tool for police and for religious or ethnic divisions because of the ambitions of one man. And I don't think he was speaking for any of the leaders, because they have clearly come out to say how they are working together to build a Nigeria that's united. And that's why I expect a speaking against this statement. I think he doesn't speak for us.
Absolutely.
I think that's well within order.
Very important.
Okay, I
Dr.
think
Abachi.
the key issues are as follows. Now, what that man has done, and I think it should be identified and his name put on the table, so that we can know these people in Nigeria who do not want the unity of Nigeria. He was saying that a Muslim ticket is a good idea. Otherwise, Christians will think that they are more than us in this Nigeria. You can just classify that as incitement, trying to incite Muslims against Christians, or vice versa in Nigeria. And that in itself is a criminal offense. You asked the question that you were surprised that 2 state governors were there. It's not only 2 state governors were there, policemen were there, state security agencies were also there. And nobody thought, the man had committed an offense, because they will say, oh, it's freedom of expression. No, there are no absolute rights under the Constitution of Nigeria. You cannot say because you have a tongue and a mouth, you can just talk anyhow. That man should be invited by the security agencies and be called to question. Because under sections 44, section 50, and section 51 of the Criminal Code of Nigeria, incitement is a felony.
Okay.
You cannot incite one group against the other and cause the breach of the public peace. The Police Act also has something about breach of a public peace. That's number one. Number two, he is very lucky. He's speaking in Kano State. If it were in Niger State, perhaps this would have been a litmus test for Governor Bago's declaration, I think sometime last month, that if any cleric talks any nonsense that can cause disunity in Niger State, that cleric will be arrested and the place of worship may be shut down. That's in Niger State. The third point is that in terms of principle, the Nigerian Constitution frowns against any form of discrimination under federal character principle that is enshrined in section 14 sub 3 and section 14 sub 4 of the 1999 Constitution, which says very clearly that nobody shall be discriminated against either on the basis of ethnicity or the section that you belong to or the kind of religion that you practice, which is further codified, expressed in section 42 of the same 1999 Constitution, which talks about, the right to non-discrimination, that you cannot be discriminated against. This man was promoting discrimination and, questioning the rights of Christians to survive in Nigeria. That makes it a very serious offense. And if you go further, in section 153, sub 1 of the same Constitution, it creates a body called the Federal Character Commission. And the job of that Federal Character Commission is to make sure that in government agencies, federal or state, that there is no such thing as discrimination. So this man that is on the screen, whatever his name is violating the fundamental rights of all Christians in Nigeria. And it's adding fuel to those who say that Christians are being persecuted in Nigeria. I don't know what his age is, but it looks like an elder. This is not how to be responsible as an elder.
Absolutely. Thank you all for your submissions. I mean, this was such a big story over the weekend, so I'm glad we could break it down step by step.